Episode 32 of the Utility Players Podcast. We got myself, Fort, Ben. Gravy may or may not pop in when he can for this episode. But what's going on, guys? Week 1 is out of the way. How are we feeling?
Oof. Hey, how am I feeling? I'll say
Depends on who you ask.
Let me let you guys explain how you're feeling before I say how I'm feeling.
Go ahead, Fort. You lead off.
About mine.
Shit. I mean, Dolphins got a dub, big divisional dub. I'm happy about that. The game I went to on Sunday, not so happy about, but it's all good. Fantasy wise, we're all right. We'll pick it up. Not stressing that. So week 1 was fun. A lot of big plays, a lot of emotional stuff. I'm ready. 16 more games of this.
How was that experience going to? That's obviously not your first time going to that stadium, but obviously a different type of situation with two teams playing from not Jacksonville.
No, that was my first time there. I haven't been to that stadium before. So pretty nice stadium. It was maybe like 60-70% capacity, but bro, I think that's the worst game I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play. I'm like,
got me negative points.
I'm over here hyped. I'm like, yo, I'm about to see Rodgers. Like, I'm forgetting about all the other playmakers, and then this man just like, I don't know what he was doing. He said, fuck it. But, I mean, it was cool just to be there. The game is a lot different speed. I've been to a lot of college games, so it was cool to see the pros. That was only my second NFL game I've been to. So it was definitely a change of pace, and I'm going to go to some bad games.
What was the environment like there with COVID-wise? Everybody's pretty cool. I know it's Florida, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Like, you just walk right in. Like, there was nothing. So, like, literally just walk straight in. It was nuts.
It's pretty much like Iowa now. I rarely see people in masks or anything. People just are like, fuck it.
Yeah, my boy came up from South Florida and like he got out the car. He's like, yo, do I need my mask? I was like, nah, we in DeSantis country, baby.
Wild West.
For real.
That game was so wild. And Aaron Rodgers has screwed me and over many NFL seasons
in different ways.
Being a Bears fan. But he continued to screw me over more this weekend because I lost 2 parlays. 2 of them, one of them for pretty decent money. We're talking over $1,000 winning because the Packers lost.
Damn.
Both of those, I took the Packers, I think, to cover. I think the line was like 3.5 maybe when I took it.
It was not a lot.
Then I wasn't even watching the game, but I go and look at the score and I'm like, let me do a double take here. Does that say 21 to what the fuck?
Yeah.
Seeing the highlights, flipping back and forth. And then, you know, I think the biggest fuck it play was Aaron Rodgers. I know, Fort, you and I were talking before this, but that second interception where he basically was like, fuck it, I'm going to see how long I can throw this ball. I mean, he just chucked it up.
Yeah, he just
didn't even care. And so I'm wondering, you know, the NFC North, not one team won a game. So that's interesting. I guess good for us. But do you guys think Green Bay, all of the offseason stuff that happened this year, especially with Aaron, has played a part maybe into that locker room? Because they looked terrible. I mean, Jameis Winston looks like the MVP in that game.
For real.
Was it just me, or did you feel like, you know, I had Red Zone on and a few other games. It was either teams looked really good or really bad. There was kind of no medium, you know, in between that. And even the wildness of Monday Night Football, where it was just, I mean, that can't even count as almost a game. That was a simulation video game that like times 1,000. But like, I felt like a lot of teams that, you know, like Green Bay, Atlanta, not saying that they're going to be the cream of the crop, but like, it was either high or low being played. Not the best quality of football this Sunday. I don't know if that was me or kind of what I saw.
Yeah. I mean, that's Saints Packers game. I mean, the Saints looked ready. They looked ready for that. To answer your question, Ben, I definitely think that it had some kind of impact because like it wasn't Rodgers that was just off. Like Devontae was off. Like Aaron Jones was off. They didn't look, you know, as they normally do. Maybe it's just week 1 not playing. You know, they thought they were going to play in a dome. Now they're playing outside. Whatever the case may be, you know. But you guys play them next week. No, they play the Lions on Monday Night Football. So
Yeah.
Definitely a bounce back game. But yeah, not getting as many reps early on in the in training camp or whatnot, even though you've been playing together for a while, that still makes a difference. So
I think that human element, at going from thinking it's going to be, that was 2 weeks of preparation. We might think, they're professional, they should adapt, but it's kind of wild playing a home game, not home, kind of figuring it out. You don't know what happened behind the scenes where, you don't know if their hotel had to get figured out or something like that, but definitely both teams were uncomfortable, and one team showed that they were ready and one team showed that they forgot what time the game was almost.
Yeah.
Like 133 passing yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, got me minus 2.68. I lost.
Was that maybe Aaron Rodgers' worst game of his career?
It has to be. There's
It has
no
to be his
other
worst game,
right?
like
I can't believe it.
No, it definitely is, because I saw some wild ass tweet that said like if you throw every pass into the ground, it's like a 32 QBR, and Aaron Rodgers' QBR was less than that. So yeah, like I was telling you before this, that's the worst I've ever seen him play, and that's the one game I go to.
Damn. I think, well, 2 things. One, I'm wondering if you guys think, preseason's been reduced now to 3 games. Virtually the starters don't play even at all in preseason, especially if you're a veteran. I mean, you're not touching the field. If you go to the training camps from like years ago when we were watching football, a lot of the training camp stuff used to be a lot more mandatory than it is now for folks. And I understand the injury factor, the being worked, the overtrained, that's come into play too. But I feel like that also has a negative effect, because these first couple games almost are like a training camp preseason type style, because, that game, and I agree with Ray, many of the games I watched, teams just did not look in sync. Some teams looked like, okay, man, they're ready. Other teams look like, hey, I mean, is this week 1 of preseason here? What's going on? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's all factors. I think you can, all variables, all factors are taken into play. I think you laid it out pretty well. The human element of not feeling like you're ready. Sure, COVID happening. Obviously, things happen during camp where it's not a normal camp, just like last year. It's affecting. It's showing. Maybe because basketball is pretty straightforward. You're playing 8 to 10 guys. LeBron James gets the ball. It's a different sport. So those guys don't need to be prepared as much, I guess, game to game, or, they just go out and figure it out. Baseball is more of a team sport, but more individualistic. One guy's up there, one guy's pitching. Football, you need everybody in sync.
Also, the fans are back too.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing we didn't even adjust for.
I know.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's gonna be fun this season. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for Sunday. In my current situation and life that I've been lived in, there's been a lot of there's been not a lot of time to enjoy things, because this has like been more work than I thought it was going to be. You just don't know what you're in for.
Yeah. Now you understand why dads love, like we always loved Sundays, but like now as fathers, it's a different type of day, right?
Dude, I geared up so hard for it. And I'm like, I'm going to try to get her fed and eat here. And like, I lay her on my chest so she'll chill out and watch the game with me, and did that. But I'm super excited for this season, especially with the fans. Like, it just made me super excited. What I am not excited for is the Sunday night game. I don't know if you guys watched, but my Chicago Bears played. And although there were some bright spots, I'm not going to jump all over my team week 1. A couple things I'm, pretty worried about. One, coming into this season, I was a little worried about the defense, especially our corner situation. Our corners are not looking good, but that game was terrible on defense. Our defense looked like trash. We couldn't get any pressure on anyone for what we have. Our corners could not stop anyone. I mean, Matt Stafford had everyone open all game. And Eddie Jackson, look, man, we paid you a bunch of money.
Broward.
I love you. You're an all-pro, great player, but you didn't really play well last year, to be honest with you. If we have to really say it, you didn't play last year. and that his performance in game 1 was dog shit. I mean, he couldn't tackle anyone. He let receivers just run by him. I don't know what he's doing. He's got to get his head together because our defense is really going to struggle. And the whole Justin Fields stuff, I know they had some little design plays to get him in there, which was exciting to see. But if you watch that whole game, our offensive line is what we thought it would be, absolute trash. And so I don't want to put Justin in because he's going to die. I mean, he's going to, Zach Wilson got sacked, 5 times? And I'm afraid of how many times Justin can get sacked with our O-line. We didn't look pretty. I know it's week 1. It's either that or the Rams are that good, and they might be that good because Matt Stafford honestly would be a good bet.
Shot of life,
MVP,
right?
As an MVP this year. I mean, the Rams looked so good. They're playing the Bears, but hey, what else kind of shocked you guys about the first week of the NFL from a team?
I thought that Arizona and Tennessee game was going to be a lot closer than it was. Chandler Jones took over. And I mean, DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray got off. They did their thing. I thought it would be a lot closer. Maybe just need a few more games for Julio to get used to that offense. Derrick Henry didn't really do as predicted.
Nothing.
So, I thought that game was going to be a lot higher scoring, or at least more competitive.
Yeah, on paper you would think that would be a shootout. Obviously, Cardinals scored 38, Titans 13, but
Lamar fumbled twice.
Yeah, I know. It's my fantasy team.
Bruh, come on, Ty.
Yeah.
As soon as that game went to overtime, I was like, fuck.
That was such a wild game because by itself it was a wild game. I wish I didn't have any fantasy implications on it because it kind of took away because I was rooting for something that had a 1% chance of happening. So it kind of ruined the moment for me. But the game itself was, that's what entertainment of sports is on primetime television. Too. Yeah, it was
in Vegas. Like,
it was incredible. It was almost like you want to. I'm not into. I guess things are set up the way it is. The referees were in on it, but that was like, what they're trying to make this game longer. They're trying to get more alcohol in these people, whatever it is. But that
it's kind of in that Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
it was kind of a perfect first game in Vegas.
The fans,
it was a Vegas game.
It was a circus. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Me and Ford had Lamar going late, and I was up on his last rush of the game, which when we thought they were gonna win, I went up 0.3. And then shit happened and he got the ball back and he fumbled. And if he doesn't fumble or he doesn't do anything on that drive,
do anything,
I win. And then in the other league, I had Josh Jacobs that kind of went out on the last drive. He came back in, didn't get the ball. They gave it to him. They didn't want to score, give him I was like, instead of going, I realistically should have went 1-1 in 2 of the leagues. I went 0-2 and I went 1-3, 1-2 on the week. But like, that's what fantasy is, man. Thou taketh and giveth, and it takes more than it gives. Correct. That's for sure.
Absolutely,
dude. I was 0-2 in fantasy this week, and it wasn't even my games weren't even close. I got the curb stomped in my face twice. One by my brother who I played this week.
Oh.
But yeah, I had Lamar Jackson in one of my leagues. He's my QB, and so that was iffy there. Who else I have? I had Derrick Henry, did nothing for me. Mike Evans did nothing for me.
Yeah, Mike Evans went to sleep during the game. I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I thought it was an iffy pick anyway because Tampa Bay has so many offensive weapons, and especially I'm like, how's AB going to do this year? How are him and Tom? And Tom really clearly likes that connection. In the end zone too. He always got that Gronk threat there.
Yeah.
And so I was worried about the Mike Evans pick, but
especially with Brady, he spreads the ball around everywhere.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of not spreading the ball around though, did Darren Waller have 210 targets last night? Because it felt like to me that he did.
I felt like he was the only one catching the ball. Like every time I looked up, it was always him.
I think it was like the first quarter. It's like Darren Waller, 2 catches, 11 targets already. I'm like, what the fuck?
Just wait till they start connecting. If they get that timing right, that's gonna be scary.
I agree with you. The Titans thing, that shocked me a bit. I thought the Bills would play better than they did there. Other than that, you go into every NFL season thinking you know what team is going to be good and not good, and then the NFL is just so different. It just kind of, week one surprised us all. Hey, what about the Giants, Ray? Let's talk about the Giants.
The Giants did exactly. Watching the game, it was like watching. I thought it was last year. It was the same type of
Was
incompetence.
it a typical Giants game?
Yeah, and it's sad because we've added so many players, not only on the defensive end, but on the offense. Offensive line always gets criticism, but I looked on the, how they have advanced stats nowadays on the O-line, kind of like percentages of blocks per whatever it is. If it's good, I pay attention. If it's bad, I pay attention. So that's all I know. Our offensive line had a great rating overall, and yet we still lost. So you can't blame the offensive line anymore. It's play calling, it's execution. Daniel Jones fumbling the ball, with an attempt to put up points, only down a score or two. So like, that's the little things that same old story last year. We were out of 16 games we played, we lost 9 or 10 of them. In those 9 or 10, because I looked it up last year, I think we were within a score in the fourth quarter of like every one of them but one. Or maybe two. So like we were in games and I thought, all right, next year, Daniel Jones will, have a lot more experience. We're building that unit because we have a bunch of new guys all together in the last couple of years. Same story. It shocked me, but it didn't, because it was like, all right, we got a lot more work to do than we thought. So back at it on Thursday Night Football with Washington, who must win. Week 2 must win.
Week 2
for real.
I know. That's how I felt with the Dolphins game, though. So.
Hey, that Dolphins game is good. That division it'll be
like
interesting
that.
To see.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Exactly like
interesting to see. When are the Giants going to fire Jason Garrett? Because
me and my boy were just talking about that.
Jason Garrett gets jobs that he should be fired for years ago, and he still has that job.
Yeah, that Cowboys job he had for way longer than he should have. I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but me and my boy were just talking about it. Who's a Giants fan, and he said that we have Freddie Kitchens on our staff, so. I don't think they wait till halfway through the year. I think they give it probably the 3 games, and maybe they demote and promote, or you know what I mean? So, because Daniel Jones been in the league now 3 years, and he's had, 2 head coaches, so many offensive coordinator every year. So you don't want to change too much and then create more. But I think a promotion and a demotion would be nice to see.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a good NFL week 1. I actually can't wait for Thursday now to watch some more football.
Yeah, man.
One thing I did want to say about football wise was the Iowa State game on Saturday was extremely painful. Like it is every year when those two play. For some reason, no matter what we do, no matter how high we rank, no matter how the season's supposed to go, we cannot beat Iowa ever. I think it's a 6th straight loss. So, shout out to all the Iowa fans out there. I'm not going to hate on you. You guys beat us fair and square. That's all I have to say about that. Yep.
Yeah, I seen you guys had a good setup. Gravy sent a picture. You guys had friends and family in the garage. Was that yours or that was somebody else's?
No, we went up to my in-laws' house, and my brother-in-law, that was his house. Watching the game there. So
it's funny because if you this is gonna sound super stereotypical of Iowa. If you would have asked me like how people in Iowa watch multiple televisions when having 10 people over, it's exactly what I would picture. Garage open, like lawn chairs,
Yes.
basketball hoop, like it's just a lot going on, but it's
yes.
That's exactly what I pictured. And
that was just there was also the backyard stuff going. There was a volleyball net set up. But that is totally Iowa. Iowa's a big garage, type place. So you'll on the weekends too, especially in my neighborhood, if you drive around, a lot of people have their garages open, like chairs out, people.
It's an extension of
out.
your home, which is good. You use up
definitely
every inch of your home. Good.
So it was good. Shitty loss. So.
Hey. And then the only thing I had for NFL was really kind of the injuries. Obviously, if your team survived, the Giants got a loss, but then they didn't have injuries. So I kind of look at that as all right, we lost, but at least it wasn't, compounded. We had the running back for the Niners. I always forget how to pronounce his name. I call him Mozart just because.
Mozart.
Isn't it
Mostert?
Mostert?
Yeah.
Mostert.
Yeah. So I'll keep it in Mozart. Yeah. I have him on my fantasy, drafted 94 overall, out for the year. Detroit Lions had a cornerback go down. Anything major,
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick's out 8 weeks. Cam Newton, that leads me into, does Cam either call them and be like, hey, or obviously I'm sure Washington football team will do their due diligence. They don't always make the right choices in general. But.
Yeah. Cam will get a job. This is what you see every year. Injuries start to happen. Someone's going to have some need, that you'll see people pop up here and there. Injuries. The Ravens got depleted, but those 2 running backs were still good. NFL, man. It's the NFL.
Yeah, that's why if I'm a free agent, I love that. If I'm a free agent that like Cam or somebody that got released last minute, instead of signing with the first team that calls, I rather, sit back and wait. Injuries are inevitable. If you're a running back and you're healthy, you're good to go. Just wait until somebody goes down and get into a situation where almost you choose it in a way. Same thing with a quarterback. I mean, it sucks because you need preparation in weeks, but just wait because eventually you could get into a really good situation. Look at Jameis Winston, came into New Orleans.
MVP of the league right now.
I mean, did anybody think he was going to throw no picks, let alone 5 touchdowns?
Did anybody check any of their fantasy leagues to see if somebody started him?
Oh, I'm sure.
No one started.
Well, in our league, our one league, you have to start 2 quarterbacks. So,
that's a different 2 QB league.
Different dynamic there. It sucks if something happens where you drafted poorly and you're just scrambling. That means you're scrambling every week for a second quarterback, which is the last thing you want to think about, but it adds another, dynamic, or it could be really good. I got, in that league, I got Rodgers, which bad. He'll never do that again. But I got, Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones. So I got those 3, which is pretty good in that league.
I like it. Hey, another shout out I wanted to give about week 1, and Ray, you're not going to like this, but the Cowboys kind of impressed me in their game. And Dak, dude, shout out to Dak. He came back. He looked so good.
Man.
Without
much camp. Off an injury of last year. Good. So
yeah,
impressive.
So that division is going to be crazy. Right now, that division is going to be crazy. What is it? The AFC? Is it the AFC
East.
North?
NFC?
AFC
the Giants?
East.
NFC East.
NFC East is going to be.
And the AFC East are going to be similar. They're going to be similar where, the both division winners could win 8 or 9 games, just like kind of last year, where it's not pretty, but, are you going to buy us some more time on the Zoom call here?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, I figured. You look locked into something. I was hoping. I seen 3 minutes. I was like, we better figure it out. Any other football, fantasy, little nuggets? I'm sure it'll come up during the pod. Just kind of going into week 1 stuff.
For me, I just hope my fantasy teams do better next week. I started off the week playing somebody who had AB and CD Lamb on the same team. So
CD is going to be nice.
Yeah, I got CDs late in one of my leagues.
Yeah, see, was that league that you sent to Travis was like, is everybody on like drugs in that league? Is that a 10-man? Because it seems like a 10-man league.
No, that's a 12-man league.
It's not 12-man for it.
That's the one that you're in with me.
Wait, that's your team?
Yeah, that's my squad.
I know. I'm gonna look at it now, but
go take a look at it. I'm stacked.
For real?
Yeah, we're about to go all the way.
I mean, I got the 12th pick in that league, so I didn't have much to work with. I thought I pulled up some good miracles, but damn, that league is stacked. That team is
7th pick too.
Just for the record, just so people could put it in perspective, he's got Matt Stafford, Sanders, Edmonds, Metcalf, CD Lamb, Kelsey, Thielen. And then on the
Damn.
bench, he's got he's got a
Debo.
solid bench. He's got Burrow as a backup. He's got Deshaun Watson. He's got Deebo Samuel, Marquise Brown. Yeah, jeez, bro. That's why I was like, because I never looked at your team. You told me to look it in. I think I told you I'll look it in a little bit. But I was, oh man, yeah. I mean, as long as you don't have, if everybody plays 14 games, 13 games out of all those guys, and nothing major.
I put up 171 points, and that was with Debo on my bench. Because I was like, do I want to start Debo? Do I want to start CD?
Bruh.
Do I want to start Thielen? Like, I got options, baby. So it's a good problem to have.
I've learned in fantasy that you can't live off the guy. You'll always have one guy on the bench that does well. Like that's, that's going to be by nature. And you're always going to tell yourself or try to convince yourself, I almost put him in. But like in general, you probably wouldn't have put him in, but it's easier to say that to.
That's
You're always going to have a guy.
Trying to sell him high right now. I need a significant RB1. My RBs are straight, but I need that top running back. So
if you're going to make trades, you make them early on to hopefully sell high, because in football, that window could close real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
I lost Gus Edwards, so I'm in the shop for running backs bad. So
yeah, that's usually what everyone needs.
Just load up as backups. Assume someone's getting COVID. Assume somebody's going to be out. Like, get the third if you have to. Like, if there's nobody to pick up on the wire and a third string running back for whatever team, just pick them up. It's worth the probability is like 5 to 10%. But when it hits, you basically just won the waiver lottery. So that's what I try to keep in mind is there's a couple guys in there that could make you win a league. You just gotta get fucking lucky, man.
I know.
For real. We upgraded the Zoom too, by the way. So
good.
We can talk our shit for a minute. I was cutting it close. I was getting nervous. I was trying to figure it out. And then they almost got me. They're like, we're just gonna bill you $149 for annual. I was like, wait, no, go back. I need the monthly shit. Don't try that.
Yeah, that annual always gets me. It's like I could save $10 or I could cancel whenever I want. I always I'd rather overpay a little bit and cancel when I want. Because 6 months from now, I do that with NBA League Pass. It's like $27 a month, or like let's say $150 for the year. But what I do is I always cancel at like the last week of the season, because what they do is they continue to bill you even when the playoffs start and you're not using it. I found that out the year before, and I was like, nope, I only do it. And if you do it only 5 months of the year, which you need it for, it comes out to the same, if not a little less.
Yeah, that's how I do. Yeah. I like to take control of things. That's like, I don't like auto pay on any of my bills. My wife would be like, why don't you set up auto pay? I'm like, no, I will pay the bill when I want to pay the bill. Yeah. I'm not going to have someone. I just like to know, because then, you know why? Because if I have auto pay, sometimes I forget that something is there, and I'll have anxiety and think like, hey, did that bill get paid? So I'd rather just have the know withal to go in, pay it, than I know. So
a lot of companies try and get you now, giving
with the $5 off, $10 off. That's smart for them, because it's like,
they know they're gonna get their money.
People
set it up.
90 to I'm going to throw out a wild number, but it's probably accurate. 90% of people do not pay attention to their monthly bill that is on autopay. They don't look at it. Their cable bill, their phone bill, bro. You know how many things I look at and it went up or went down, whatever. And it's just like, first of all, sometimes it's but people don't even know they could be charged something, or discounts run out after a year and you're on your 13th month. And then all of a sudden it jacks up to 50 and you don't realize it till 4 months later.
Yeah,
that's where it does get. Yeah, bro. I just found that out with Xfinity.
Especially working in retail with discounts and monthly bills. Like what you said is just like, you hit the nail on the head. I'd have people come in. I'd be like, so how much is your bill? Normally. And they're like, I don't even know. It's on auto pay. It just gets paid. I'm like, all right, cool. Lets me know what I'm doing now.
I think I'm going to start a side business of like helping budget family and friends. Like,
you should.
Like for free at first, and show them how much I could save them. Because I know so much about those little things that most people don't want to even put effort into. And what do people normally want to do? They spend money on things they don't want to think about, especially finances. Hey, I could pay somebody $25 this month and I don't have to think about it. And I'm thinking of doing a side hustle like that, because I'm really fucking good at it.
You should.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you absolutely should.
Just start promoting it on our Instagram page or
On the
our Twitter
page,
page.
Yeah, I'll
and then
start with
just-
family or friends, like a few of
Yeah.
them for free, just to like promote it
Yeah.
and be like, dude, I just saved her $200 without even her like changing anything.
And
So,
then
yeah.
you can make
Yeah.
like a Discord chat, and then you can start making like
All right.
like
Yeah.
I'll come
like
to you as my
manuals and
manager.
shit.
This is now
Telling
costing
you,
Ray
bro.
money to do. No. He's got to pay a manager, a
Yeah, right?
publicist, in
Next
case
thing you
something
know,
goes
I'm in
wrong.
debt, and I'm like, fuck this friend.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
supposed
the-
to show people how to get out of debt, not get in debt myself.
I'm the same way. I look at my bank account probably 30 times a day.
Bro, same.
Yeah. And I know how much money is coming out everywhere. I know how much money should be in that account at every single minute. And so when something is not, it's off to me immediately. I key in, I'm like, what the fuck's that? Woo.
I'm
What's
telling
that?
you, I wasn't good at math in school, but when it comes to that financial monies maths,
Yeah. Don't
lock
fuck
in.
with their money.
oh man,
You know?
I see
Don't touch my money.
$1.98. I trace it down. Look at Venmo's coming in and out. What was
Right.
it? What was it? What was
I
it?
I know.
And then,
Man.
oh, you know what you realize too? These monthly subscriptions, like Hulu's been going up $1 every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's about to go up in
Mhm.
October.
Inflation.
If
I know.
if you're listening to this, October, it went up because you got it on auto pay. You don't pay attention. It's going from $12.99 to $13.99 or 11 to 12. But yep, going up $1. Disney just went up $1. That's how they get you. They get you in for like $14.99. You get a package. 3 years
then
later,
one day-
you're paying 20.
One day they're
And you
going to
don't
do the
have the same
Netflix thing
package.
where they're going to say, "Hey, you were paying $9.99. Now it's $19.99. Fuck off." And you're like, "Damn it! I'm going to pay this now because it's
Yeah, you
Netflix
just
and I
locked
can't
in.
get rid of it."
Bro, that's what Xfinity taught me, and YouTube. I told last week, I saved $150 a month, but just by doing a little bit of TLC to my bank account, making sure
Yep.
I'm looking at it, comparing, and then I asked you guys a bunch of questions, and it's the best thing I've done this year. 2021,
Woo!
I changed my cable provider, and it was the best thing I did. I don't know how like boring my life is, but I'm fucking stoked.
Yeah, I was going to say he also got.
Dog,
I'm so hyped.
That's one of those things I like to do. I like to print out like my bank statements and go back
Yeah.
and look at that
He's
shit.
he's
You get a
circling it with
highlighter?
highlighter. I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah.
this shit right here? I remember this charge. He's on the phone, pacing up and down the driveway, and be like, "Hey, who is this?" And they're like, "Fort, you were here. We have you on video."
Yeah, my kids are
Screaming.
either gonna hate me that I'm so like neurotic about that, or they're just gonna naturally have it in them. Hopefully, I don't have to teach them; they just have my neurotic behavior. Because I'll be checking their bills until they're like 32 years old.
Yeah. Again, though, with kids, I know you guys feel the same way. I preach it all the time. There should be better money education for kids when they're younger.
Yep,
It should be like a
taxes.
requirement in school. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what my mom did. My mom, when we were kids, made us start doing, when we were in high school, made us start doing her taxes every year to learn. And so then
Nice.
I've never paid anybody to do my taxes. I've done them all myself, And so, but I think,
Nice.
that's rare. I think kids it should be like a high school, junior high
Yep.
requirement, money management, maybe how to invest, stuff like that.
Learn
For
about credit.
Go ahead,
Credit,
Fort.
especially.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
motherfuckers turn 18, go to college, get a credit card. Before they know it, they fucking thousands of dollars deep in credit card debt because they don't know
Yep.
about it, and they're in
Mhm.
college and they got student debts, and you keep this cycle going, and that's just how you get fucked up.
Yeah, I'd say 4 topics that come to my mind that if I knew, I mean, most of them I just learned in the last year and a half, and then all of it I learned in the last 5 years was credit, stocks, taxes, and what goes into owning a home.
Yep.
Whether it's interest, whether it's insurance, and I'm learning all of that now, and I've been introduced to it for the first time. Some of those topics, like only a couple of years ago, and I'm about to turn 32, and it's like, why? Like most of it is you could say education, or depending on what family, obviously then you had your mom showing you, like that's rare. That's
Yeah.
no one
I
has their
know,
mom
yeah.
practicing their kids
Yeah.
having doing taxes. So it all depends. But education is, what are we learning in school that we can't
Yeah.
learn one of those 4 topics at all?
It's crazy. The one thing that's going to affect you probably more than anything else.
Those
you
4
know?
well, 3
Like,
topics. Take out
like-
stocks, but those 3, we all
Yeah.
got to do them.
If
For real.
when Veda goes to elementary school and she comes home and is like, I'm like, what do you got for homework? And she's like, she's like, I got to do this cursive. I'm going to take that shit, walk right back into that school and say, what is this horse garbage? Cursive? Who fucking cares?
Cursive?
Everybody types everything out. No one's even need to write anything. Why don't you teach her how to use a goddamn card or financial, some accounting, credits and debits. Credits and debits.
And it's funny because cursive, we were kind of, I guess we were the last, I don't know what generation after us learned it, but I got by not learning cursive. I cheated my way. I don't know how, but I never learned how to do any of it.
Dude, I did the same thing.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I don't know how to do cursive, and I only barely know how to sign my name. So I got past that one.
Same way. I remember in high school them trying to teach it, or no, not even high school, but as a young kid them trying to teach it, and I would be thinking like, what is this nonsense? Am I in like a Shakespeare movie?
Yeah, is this
Why
art?
the fuck do I ever need
class?
to write like this? I write like this. This is how I'm supposed to write. Why else am I gonna put some fancy, squigglies on it?
Squiggly lines on it.
Do the Billy Madison. They're like Z. Are those R's? Those are Z's.
That's what at the end of the day, education, we've mentioned it a lot, isn't preparing you for the future. It's what's going on right now. They're so behind where it's like most of the things all the things I learned, if not the things that I thought I was going to use in marketing and business were obsolete by the time I graduated, or tried to get a job because everything was computerized or, social media wasn't around as big in 2011 when I graduated. It was only a few years old. And I'm talking like IG, Twitter, and all that. And then now,
oh shit, yeah. I mean,
you need to know. If you don't know that, you're screwed. And how do you learn that after college? You teach yourself. So like we're back to square one, teaching yourself. All those people that I went to college with had to teach themselves social media. They didn't learn it in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Facebook came out like my sophomore year of college. That's when I think it first came out, and I remember it being super weird. But me as a person who actually kind of doesn't believe in the value of college anymore for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like for what I went to school for, I mean, everything I do now, college didn't teach me anything. None of it. Yeah. Not one bit of it. Nothing. I taught everything else, what I do now on my own. And I just don't know in the 21st century when we have the best college in our hands at every moment we can teach ourselves anything that we want at any moment. What's the value of it anymore? Like, I don't see a value in it anymore. Like, I know parents save their money for their kids' college. I'm not saving $1 for Veda's college.
No,
I'm not saving any money for it because I don't see a value in it at this point. Unless you're going to be, let me take that back. Unless you're going to go something targeted, like you're going to be a doctor or you want to do something like that, I understand. But if you're not doing anything targeted like that, I think school will evolve more like to technical schools like they are now, where you want to be a cybersecurity person. So you go to learn specific cybersecurity type stuff. But the basics of what like we went to, business, marketing and all that, that'll still be there. But what's the value in it anymore? I don't think there's any.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that because just the other day, my buddy sent me this like link that the University of Miami is doing this program, this class where you can sign up and they'll teach you about crypto and they'll teach you about blockchains and they'll teach you about all that kind of shit. And I replied back to him, I'm like, bro, I got Twitter, Discord, and YouTube. What the fuck do I need to pay for something that's all online?
And how old is the professor that's teaching this?
Exactly.
Above the age of 50? Like,
and probably, how much money is it costing you? That that you're going to be in debt forever. It's just you kind of see the corruptness of the system there. The money game. It's
that old way is dying though, in a good way.
Gone.
I think this pandemic taught a lot that you don't have to go into school to learn. I mean, online colleges have been big for 10, 15 years now, but like nobody really had to do it. It was like, oh, you go to Stanford, well, you're online college right now. So I guess seeing that has been a lot of good. I think there's a lot of positive to come out of the pandemic. As long as you're alive, yourself, your close family, friends are doing well, that's a success, because I think we learned a lot from this year and a half, and we're going to still learn, because nothing's going back to normal. That word normal is not a thing. There is no normal. This is norm.
Hey, I got breaking news about the how we were talking about classes for like taxes and credit and all that kind of shit. They just announced the professor for the taxes class. It's going to be AOC. So everyone
Huh.
come in and tune in.
Tax the rich.
Jeez. I thought this was some legit breaking news for a second. I'm like, oh my God, is this what is this?
Don't miss the first class.
But Ray, I agree with you there. The pandemic, changed me in a way. It made me value and devalue certain things more, and like maybe really look at what's important and what's not important. And then I think it showed everybody a lot of the bullshit waste that we still do in day-to-day life, or we did do before, that really is unnecessary. And you helped us utilize more tools that we have for the better. I mean, especially I understand people going back to work, and I understand that that's necessary in a way, but also you see how much wasted time that I used to have by going into an office every day, and how much more time I have to get work done. And especially with, my work, that is like, everybody has seen that now, that how much actual work gets done more than it did before. If you're in an office where you have that opportunity of those distractions to get lost in something else. Yeah.
And you're proving right there. The thought of my last company that I worked with was, you have an office of 30 people. If we all worked from home, how many people would slack off? Then they did exactly what they should have done. They'll fire themselves, or you'll realize who isn't needed. Because if you're not competent to have an opportunity in a job that's good, and obviously the job that we had, the company that I worked for, the opportunity to make a lot of money was there, or always present, but it's all about, kind of what you put into it. If somebody doesn't want to work when they're home, that's fine. Get rid of them. Find somebody else. If your opportunity is so good, and that's what I didn't like about my last company, was we all knew that. It just, obviously companies like power, the control, and they want to monitor you. So that will go down as time goes on, because companies will realize we can't fucking watch these people all the time. It's just not productive. But yeah, I'm happy for that point of view, because it gives me confidence. I don't want to. My goal is to not have to work until I want to again. So hopefully I could continue to have different streams of income, have different entrepreneurial, companies and or ideas that just keep coming in. The traditional get a job, work there for 30, 40 years. That was dead 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not existent now. Now you're lucky you could work for a job or some type of career type job for 5 years. That's a big deal. 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I told all my employees this. You should be constantly and consistently looking at what you want to do. And if you're at somewhere more than 5 years, you should re-examine your self-worth and to see if there's something else out there for you. Because after that, you can get stagnant at what you're doing, and then the company or whatever you're doing you can be devalued, because they look at you as like a security blanket. So when you're devalued, compensation maybe isn't there as it used to be. The challenging aspect of you being challenged in your work to try to do something different. And then as you stay longer, that's when you get into those, I would say like our parents or my parents, where they've been at the same position 30 plus years, and how miserable are they? They're like, I can't stand this place. I'm like, well, why have you been here 30 plus years? Like there's tons of things you can do out there, you just got to go do it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that was how I was getting at my past employment place. I was there for a long time, and I just got to a position where if I went up like how I wanted to, it wasn't going to be worth my time and my effort and everything like that. It was just going to drain me from everything else. So I just had to look for something else. And my mom always told me the best time to be looking for a job is when you already have a job, because you don't want to be stuck, trying to find some employment when you don't have anything, because it's not the way. It's not good. I've been there, done that. And I mean, like Ray said, you got to also try and find other revenues of income, like with social media, like, and everything. There's so many ways to make a few extra $200-$300, $400. And like for some people that could be difference between paying their car note, difference paying their house bill, whatever the case may be. But
groceries, food.
Exactly. Yeah. An extra $200-$300 makes a difference.
Yep.
So
yeah, I feel like it's two things for me personally. I've always been, since a young age, whether it was like 16 or 18, I always had confidence in myself that I'll figure it out. And I feel like every challenge in life, and I've had many of them in my, adult years of work and living, and not living, not at home. First of all, if you got to have confidence in yourself that no matter what happens, right, you're gonna figure it out, but also feel confident in yourself that you're learning every day, like we're doing. I feel like the three of us, also including Gravy, the way we talk in our group chats, yeah, we talk a lot of silliness, but there's some good stuff in there that we're always trying to educate ourselves on, and putting good people around you or having good people that contribute to that, that aren't always, that are, what do you call it? Withdrawers and depositors in your life. Like if you have a bunch of fucking withdrawers, they suck the life from you. But if you got a lot of like friends or family members that are constantly giving you information, maybe you're not attuned, like obviously the crypto and Ethereum, all that stuff, I still don't comprehend or understand, but I'm always open. I'm always reading what you send, trying to be like, because one day it might click for me and I'll be like, guess what, for it?
Yeah.
And I'm fucking all in. Like, let's go. So that's important in my life, to not only have confidence in myself, that obviously in January I got fired. I kind of knew it was coming, but it was the best thing that happened to me because it put pressure on me. And sometimes you need that, like you need that kick in the ass. Like you've been riding a wave of walking into an office for 40 hours a week, just thinking, oh, you're going to get that paycheck and you're going to make those sales. But it's like, all right, put a little pressure on yourself and you get better. So grateful for that.
I can agree with everything you just said. 100%. That's exactly, how I feel there about everything. Yeah. Preach.
Good. Anything new on the business end of like, money wise? I know me and Ford had a good conversation. What was that, episode 30, when we had a good like 20-30 minute conversation about some money shit, but stocks are still down. The iPhone 13 that was just announced today fucked me, because one of the stocks that they thought they were working with, one of the companies, it went up like $1 something over the last week. So I cashed out on it and bought its GSAT. And then it came out today that they're not using that company and it fucking tanked. And I'm like, fuck again.
Damn.
Just when I was up again. So that's the constant game that I'm playing with every day.
Yeah. And that that's I mean, the stocks and crypto, the markets they operate similarly. This crypto is just more volatile.
So volatile.
What goes up must come down.
Yes, right? I know. And it's just, but you also see that, I think a lot of it too, like stuff that gets said in the public space. Twitter is a big thing. You might hear things on Twitter, Wall Street bets, anything like that, where it can pump the price up of something, or the rumors go out there. A great example is, I mean, if you are in the crypto market, you see the Walmart Litecoin press release yesterday. That was fake. And then if you look at the price, it pumped way up high, and then like literally an hour after they were like, this is fake, the price fucking tanked of Litecoin. And shit like that is where it's so frustrating.
Dude.
Yeah, I got to listen to my own advice. And obviously we all get greedy. Like today I was watching a stock. I like cashed out 3 different times on one stock, made not a lot of money, but I was just like trying to get anything. And I told myself, just wait for it to drop. And what does it do? It goes up a little. I'm like, buy back in. And what does it do? Like an hour later, drops a whole $1. And it's like, I gotta know every time you get a little greedy, and it's like, it's gonna go back down. Stop trying to buy.
It's the same. I know. That's why I've been through those ups and downs like you, Ray, with the stock market and everything, because you get so antsy. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to be able to get this at a great price.
Yeah, I got to walk away.
Do this. That's why for me, I like had to switch up what I was doing and just say, hey, what is my set plan? What's the goal I want to achieve in this certain amount of years? What's my set plan? How am I going to get there? And like literally stick to that set plan always. So I don't deviate from it. Like 95% of what I do is just sticking to that plan to see that right out. And then I'll keep a little, 5% there to kind of play, to try to find those big ones that are like, oh, I'm going to pump a bunch into here, see if it can go up a bit, sell it and do that. But
there's
that's
like
how I operate. Otherwise I get too stressed out,
Yeah, I was earlier today.
There's a few Discord chats that I've seen that they have like 30, 40, 50,000 members, and like they'll just find like
in one group chat.
Yeah. They'll find
That's
like
crazy.
this random ass like shit coin to like pump, and they'll pump the fuck out of it for like an hour.
That's
and
wild.
then just cash out. Yeah.
See, that's the game. And that's what I got to know, that in today's stock market, depending on what stock, obviously, it's so volatile, where you do have a bunch of people, like young people like us, or in general, like making these stocks go up and down. And most likely after going up, they're going to come down. So I have to.
It's not looked as it was like 20 years ago. Like,
yeah, it's a different game. That's why all these old heads hate it.
Yeah.
All the old heads are like, they're ruining our thing. This was our thing.
How everything,
because we can't make money now. You know, we can't make money now. That's the problem.
Yeah,
people want instant gratification.
We've made what they've been doing for 30 years look too easy. So, you know, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not saying we're right in how we're doing it, but like it's discrediting a lot of these old heads.
Yeah. And now they're getting upset that they didn't get on the crypto wagon and they're trying to tax the fuck out of it. No, fuck you. Leave my shit alone. Leave my fake money alone.
I operate where I operate on it. Like there's gonna be some sort of taxation at some point. There just will.
It's like social media, how there's eventually going to be regulation with that. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
they're already starting to like monetize Twitter and shit.
Yeah, crypto market. It's doing pretty good right now. I'm heavy into it. I'm just super into it at the moment. Sticking to my plan though. You
got that one number.
Yes, I do. That Solana I bought a long time ago really paid off. You know, really paid off. And
I was looking at that shit for a while. I have mine chilling in a wallet. It's just being staked right now. So it's just
so keep making money, boys.
Speaking of making money, last week we didn't have Bet the Fort. He went 0-4 and just ducked our text messages that he said he was gonna have picks, but we're gonna kind of force you. If you don't have picks now, you better go on ESPN.com and start looking for shit.
I got a few picks. I was looking at them.
Week off. Sometimes you need a mental health week. So
yeah,
And we got some UFC too. I don't know, not too many main. And I looked to see if anybody recognized. I didn't recognize anybody on the card for UFC.
I didn't look at it. I can look at it now. But I was looking at a little bit of soccer Champions League tomorrow. A little bit of Champions League action. I'm definitely taking Liverpool over Milan, so we're gonna do that.
Yep.
Now with soccer, now that we know we could do ties, are we doing just win-loss?
First 90 minutes.
First 90 minutes, baby.
Yeah,
because that's how most of the betting websites go.
You have the option of doing that. Yep.
Yeah. And then I didn't want to. There was a few other games, but I didn't want to take anyone that's playing. And then I'm gonna take Dortmund over Besiktas. How the hell you say that? Even
usually
though
those are some Russian leagues.
I don't know, but was it Man United today played the Young Boys?
Young Boys.
Did you see
the
that?
Young Boys. Yeah, they lost. Yikes.
Yeah.
And that's wild. Hey, what else? You want any football?
I'm gonna take the Thursday night game. I'm taking the Giants.
Please.
There you go.
Giants. It's Washington football team -3.5, but Giants money line. Fitzpatrick out. Talk to me.
Who be QB in there then?
Heineke, I think that's who they brought in, right?
Yeah,
Heineke.
He was the backup last week.
Yeah, he played in the playoffs against Brady. He was balling out though. But I don't know. Yeah, give me the Giants on Thursday Night Football.
All right. And then if you have any more throughout the week, obviously, because now sports are heating up. If you see anything that you like, we'll throw it on the gram. This is once we get into end of September, October, we got NBA, football, soccer, golf, always, whatever we got. And then obviously we got some good, some good boxing matches coming up too. Usually boxing's hot in the summer, and then they do it big time in the fall too. So we'll have some good boxing matches.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what other topics? What's trending? Kind of what's on your mind? Anything random?
Did you guys watch the Peyton Manning, the Manning Bros cat last night? What'd you think?
I didn't see I know Ray was talking about it.
Bro, I didn't know what was going on. Well, I knew because of social media, and I had a couple things going on. Then I turned it off on halftime, and 5 minutes in, I was like, I should have been watching this the whole time.
Yep.
They're just because, first of all, they're brothers, and they're like, it's funny because those two type of guys, stereotype again, white guys that are like have been almost privileged their whole life, that are very like, whatever, however you describe it. They're not supposed to be that funny, and they are because they're not trying to be funny. They're just like naturally like brothers chopping it up, insults. And Eli's pretty fucking funny though. Like his whole career, he didn't show any humor at all. Like post game, whatever it was, he would show it with commercials and stuff, but you still didn't get it. And now that he's retired, dude's he's got a lot of personality. I thought that was brilliant. I hope they do that every week. They probably won't, but man, get rid of the announce team because
I know
I just can't watch it anymore. It was great. So I've learned so much about football from those 2 hours.
Oh my God. I'm glad you said that. Cause I'm almost the identical situation. I didn't even know I was doing stuff with baby shit and I didn't even know it was on. And then I saw on Twitter, somebody talking about Peyton Manning and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh damn, I found it. And I started watching it a little bit after halftime. And immediately I was like, this is incredible. Like, this is incredible.
He had the little ass helmet on.
They taught you so much,
I wish I recorded it because I want to go back and watch the first half.
Yeah. Derek Carr would throw a pass or something, and then you see Eli's face, like, and then they would make a comment and they'd be like, oh, I bet. And then Eli would go, coaches always say, coaches would be like, oh, this and that here. You run that out round. He's like, but that guy's going to be find out the field. The way they have a different language, quarterbacks, obviously to each other. They're talking, but they could be talking another language because the things they think about and how they're able to, like, I have ADD, I think, or probably I do, like where they're watching the game, they're doing some type of play, like reading something, and then they're like they were just doing 3 or 4 things at once, like effortlessly and flawlessly, both of them. Like they were doing an interview, thinking about a question, then looking at the game. It was nuts. It was like hanging out here in the lab and just watching the game and just shooting the shit. Like it was amazing. I know. I really hope they do it again.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. Like I really hope they do it again. It'd be great.
We need to do something like that, like Barstool does or did, where they
that
have
would be
like
awesome.
live games. We should do that. Maybe we'll get together. We'll figure out what. And
I'm down.
Even if there's 2 viewers, it'll be good to watch a game with you guys because we probably never will. Or if we do, it's going to be very few and far between. But like if we do something like that, that could be really fun.
Yeah, I'm totally down.
I feel like
I got nothing going on except shitty diapers.
We need to get the Twitter popping, and that's mostly on me because when you got like 600 followers or something on Twitter, you can do Twitter Spaces.
Ooh.
And then you could just have everyone get in there and just talk shit. Even like you said, even if it's only like 3 or 4 people, everyone can just talk. You can just have a bunch of people talking. So I can do it on my personal Twitter. I can do Spaces on my personal Twitter, and then we just log in from the pod.
Link it up.
Join the space on there. Yeah. Sweet. So, yeah, that's taking over. That's what a lot of people are doing on with like crypto and NFT shit. They go on these Twitter Spaces, and they have like sometimes like 200 people on here, and it's only like you can only have up to like 11 speakers. So like you can choose who talks, and like some people are just dropping free game, free knowledge, but most of the time it's late. It's like 2 a.m. I just sometimes listen to that shit and see what the hell these people are talking about. But most of the stuff, it's good stuff. So
sweet.
Yeah. You could do something like that.
Couple trending things that I had right before we jumped on. Norm Macdonald, the comedian, died of cancer. Obviously, he was battling it for 9 or 10 years, which I always, it's sad but it also tells you what type of, there are people out there that don't have to put everything on blast and get that pity party, I always forget his name, Black Panther. He had the cancer for like 3 years, never talked about it, whatever. He was young. He was 50 something years old, 53 or something.
Yeah. It's super sad because he's super funny. I think I watched one of his last comedy specials he had made a few years ago. I think it was called the title of the comedy special was called Hitler Had a Dog, something like that. But it was that dude is super funny, one of a kind, and it's super sad to hear that he passed away.
Yeah, what was he in? Not Billy Madison.
He was in Billy Madison. Yeah.
It was Billy. Yeah, he's in. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking.
He's one of his friends.
Thinking Happy Gilmore, but it was Billy Madison. What I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I just seen a clip from it after I was on Twitter. After I seen that he passed, and just kind of
crazy.
He's got one of those faces where you go, I've seen him somewhere, right? And then if you looked at what he's in, he's like, I've seen every movie he's ever been in, basically.
Right. Yeah. No. Damn.
And then the one of the things I seen recently was does McGregor try to go to events? Does McGregor try to go to events and start like he'll look at either he devises a plan to be like, all right, who's going to this event? All right, I pick him, or he just looks around and the first person he just has to be trying to knock dudes out. What is wrong with this dude?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's starting to kind of annoy me in a way, you know, from all of these antics. I'd rather him just shut up and try to beat somebody for a second. And nice. I think it even annoyed me a little bit more. I don't even know if it's true or anything why it happened, but I read online the reason he was so angry is because he tried to get an autograph and MGK didn't give it to him.
He would not. You think McGregor's trying to get an MGK autograph?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. If that's it, then it makes it even worse. So I don't even know.
MGK's only relevant because of Megan Fox right now, and
exactly.
Everybody.
Speaking of Megan,
all the girls are online on Instagram.
Right.
All the single ladies are hashtag relationship goals.
They're all posting that.
Get over it. All the single girls. I need this. I want this. It's like
the Travis Barker and Kardashian one. Like, they're almost 40, bro. What are you talking about?
They're gonna be broken up in a month, and then they're gonna be like, what? Oh, good goals you had, you idiot.
The bar is low.
The bar's super low these days.
Well, I was gonna say I can't wait for the 2024 #1 NBA draft pick to be her next boyfriend.
For real.
It's a joke. It's a fucking joke, guys. Don't fucking kill me. I'm just making a joke.
And then that's it for me. I just wanted to know why McGregor and MGK were fighting. I didn't find any answers.
Speaking of that, I saw this from Ben. Jake Paul wants to fight Masvidal. Like,
I hope so,
bro.
I hope that
happens. To happen.
I hope that'll be the one that takes Jake Paul down.
I feel like every 4 or 5 episodes we have this thing where we're just like, this person's gonna take Jake Paul down.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't go on for too long.
He's finally fighting an active fighter, and so make it happen.
Yeah, please.
Please make it happen
in Miami too. Like, make that shit in Miami.
Ooh.
It'll pop off.
I'll definitely go to that that'll be fun.
No. That's it for me, boys. I'm just, I'm getting used to that dad life out there. That's kind of what's consumed me as of late. A lot of shitty diapers.
What's been the biggest difference?
Time. It's like you can't.
Time.
It's hard to get. So like you try to get in like a set. Try to get her in like a set, daily eating, feeding schedule. That so you can then figure out like, okay, I can try to put her to sleep now so I can get some shit done. But it doesn't go that way. And so one of the guys I play softball with, he had a young kid and he was like, let me give you 2 apps that'll change your life. And he was like, one of them's called the Wonder Weeks. And so I download that and it's been great because apparently it takes you through what babies go through. They go through what it's called leaps, and they have like 12 big leaps in their first few years of life. And each leap, something different happens, and they tell you what like to be prepared for, the signs of it. And like leap 1, which she's supposed to go through in the next week or so, they describe it as imagine you going to sleep at night, waking up, opening your eyes, and you're on a complete different planet with people you've never seen before, and you don't know anything about this planet.
Trippy.
That's exactly what happens to the baby. And then during that leap, she's going to cry more, sleep less, eat more, be more clingy, all of that. I'm not going to lie, she might be going through this right now because, sometimes she refuses to be put down. She wants to be held.
Right? As a baby, you just don't get it. You don't understand anything. Like,
oh my gosh.
Because you're a baby. But like,
right?
you look back and like be a baby now, but with what we know.
They're
I know,
not
and
thinking, but they're just like confused. Imagine being confused all the time.
I know. And if you like, I stare directly at her face all day long, and like she'll start crying. You can like see her tongue doing the thing. She closes her eyes. I'm like trying to calm her down, but I'm like, what is it? Like, what is it? And it's just the only way babies can get what they want. And so, but she goes from 0, she'll go from sleeping to level 10 in less than a minute out of nowhere. And it's like, how do we get her to calm down? Like she gets so overworked, like calm down. So you're racing to get food, trying to get bottles warmed up.
Trying to get all of it. Yeah.
You're trying to get,
there's only 3 things that you can do. Like
out,
it's like they either shit,
change your diaper,
they either have to eat, or they're tired. Like that's it. After those, there's not a fourth. There's not when you're that young, there's no fourth option.
There is no
it's
fourth.
like just stare at her and
I know, but then like one of them's go to sleep, and then you think, oh my gosh, she's been up since 3 a.m. and it's 3 in the afternoon and she has not gone to sleep. And you're like, you can see it on their face, like you crying. And so that portion of it, that portion, guys.
I'm exhausted just listening to this.
That's been fun, but it like, I don't know, it's totally worth it. Cause each day you're like hanging out with her and you see her change. She's changed each day. You start to see her. She notices, like the other day she was laying on my lap and she had her hands out like this, and she like, I think she saw her hands or saw something, because she was like that.
What are these things?
Like this with her hands,
That's amazing.
It's just, and her eyes are opening more. It's just, I don't know. It's amazing. It's just it's a lot of work. It puts a lot of things in perspective, and it's a lot of responsibility, because you're like, I'm in charge of taking care of this person. You feel a lot of responsibility, being like, hey, I want to make sure I do the best I can for you to help, hopefully set her up for good things in her life. And so that's, just what we're dedicated to. And then trying to sleep when she naps.
You go through half your life being a selfish motherfucker, which is normal, because human beings as a species, we're selfish no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by nature of like, I need to eat so I can feed whatever it is. And then the second half of your life is, I don't go a minute without thinking of someone else in the best way, right? In like in the total polar opposite way. It's a fucking wild trip. I can imagine.
It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think it's amazing. I'm enjoying it. It's just, it tests you. But I think that's part of being a parent. That's why, I think about our parents and my parents going through these last few weeks and being like, okay, I see. I understand some things more now I didn't understand before, I guess, or things make more sense.
100%, yeah.
And so then it's like, okay, now I realize why my mom had all those rules. She's trying to keep me from not ending up in jail or something like that.
Right. Well, not to get a little morbid, but this is where I think adults or parents can take the turn for the worst. Meaning, if you're not, and you're a prime example of what I'm going to say, is if you're not mentally fit, responsible, have your own shit together, which you check all those boxes. Most people don't. And then when you give them a child that they have to, not only do they not have those boxes checked on themselves after being selfish for 30 years or 20 years, you have to do it for another life. It's like, this is why people resort to bad actions or substance abuse. And you need to, if you're not mentally fit before, and you're having a baby, you have 10 months. That's it. You got 10 months to figure that shit out, because once that baby's out, you're live.
Reality's gonna smack you in the face. And that's funny, because Emily and I were talking about that last night, because, I think a lot of the problems that you have in any society boil down to parenting. A lot of the kids didn't have parenting. We were watching the show where it was, my wife is a special needs behavioral teacher, high school teacher. So she deals with kids like these all the time. And then one thing that she notices is a lot of them don't have parents or have bad situations. And that really can affect them going throughout their life. And then we saw a commercial remember the MTV show Teen Mom? I was like, oh my goodness, how the hell can a teenager have a kid? Now having a kid, I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how teenagers do it or have done it. And many have, but it's like, wow. at that point in my life, what I was at that age, I can't even imagine trying to take care of what I'm dealing with every day with her now. Like I can't even imagine it. And so, yeah, a lot of perspective, a lot of reality perspective things hit you and be like, okay, I get this now, you know? And like, dude, you get this overwhelming feeling of, you know, sometimes she like coughs or, you know, she's thrown up a few times or you're trying to burp her and she's like, you can almost choking. And the feeling over me, I feel like I could lift up a car. Like
right?
I'm ready.
That's
I'm ready to
crazy.
go. It's just this overwhelm. I'm like, the adrenaline is just rushes over you.
You can't even prepare
crazy.
for that. You can't even like
No.
manufacture that feeling because that's something like impossible to duplicate if you don't have obviously a child. But like,
Yeah,
I know what you mean, but I still don't even know the feeling. So I can't even
Yeah.
like, I can picture it, but be like, I still kind of don't know what you mean.
well, you
That's
guys
awesome.
are going to get there someday and you're going to be incredible parents.
Yeah,
The only thing last thing I'll say is I can't wait till she can actually talk to me. I'm just going to say it. I know it's a long time away from now, but I really can't wait till she talks to me because sometimes she looks at me and I'm like, just say it. Say what you
something.
Say what you're thinking.
I'm glad you're the guinea pig of the group, so I could, you know, live vicariously through you with none of the repercussions.
If it was one of us four, I'm glad it's Ben.
Yeah.
The best advice I give anybody is somebody gave this to me, and it's truly the best advice. Sleep when they take naps because you don't know when the next time you're going to be able to. So,
For real.
All right. Well, the Kiki wanted to know how's your fantasy team's doing?
I lost 0-2. I don't know who that is, but one of my leagues aiming to score 100 points.
And how many you're in 2, Ben? And how many are you in 4?
I'm in 3. I'm running.
Yeah, I'm in
2.
3 as well. And I do a weekly FanDuel, so it's technically 4 if you do the kind of for the whole season.
Yeah, Kiki crushed it in that Yahoo league. I don't know. She got the first. Yeah, she got the first pick. She dropped like 200. She had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I don't know who else she had. She had Russell Wilson. Her team just spazzed out. So it's week 1.
She's riding a wave, but
yeah, it's first week.
The humble pie is served to everyone throughout the season. Nobody goes unscathed.
I'm trying to go to Dolphins Colts week 4. So
let's get it. Yeah, that'll be in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
October 3rd or some shit.
Let us wrap up on that. That's episode 32. I'm going to post our predictions for the season either tonight, depends on how high I get when we get off this, or tomorrow morning. So I'll post that so we could, have it on the page and hold ourselves accountable. And then, tell all your friends about us. More viewers.
Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your auntie, tell your uncles, your cousins, the ones you haven't talked to in a few years.
After listening to this episode, we either made people money or saved people money. I think I think we did a good thing today on episode 30.
No one's losing money unless you take Bet the Fort last week.
We'll end on that note. Peace.
Peace.